Hey everybody, guess what? We're at day 11, and I have been so surprised how many of you are really not opening it until today. I am so proud of you. I am not that good always. I've done a few where I can stay with it, but then there's every once in a while where I'm like wanting to punch the next thing out. So thank you so much for being here and welcome to day 11. So what is day 11? We have it, and you can tell I have bags everywhere. We've been opening them up and we've been having a good time. So, day 11. Some of you, this will be kind of nostalgic. Some of you may have never done this, and you're going to learn a whole new, just like we've been doing, introducing things to we're introducing new crafts. So, you may think this isn't packaged great, but it really is. It has exactly what you need. So, first off, it has directions. It tells us about setting up our workspace. I love that. And I love that it even gives us like that kindergarten, tell us how to mix our colors, because trust me, I would have been sitting here Googling it if I didn't have that. And then it has, this is a bandana for us to do. It has rubber bands. It even has a pair of gloves. So some of us of old school and have done tie-dye before, and we didn't have gloves. We didn't use no stinking gloves, and we made a hot mess. So I have rubber bands, and then I'm going to share just some tips and tricks along the way. And I love how it kind of talks about how to do things. So you're going to see me looking down because I want to make sure that I'm telling you correct and I'm not just winging it like I usually do, because we know I am good at winging and doing. So I'm undoing my gloves so that I'll have those ready. And the easy thing is you can break apart. I typically kind of open and give it a kind of that way. It's easier to put your hand in. So I kind of blow on those. So that way you can see we have gloves. I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to let you laugh at my bottles. So several things that you can do. You could do bowls and do color and kind of dip in the bowls. That's one way to do it. We have people watching all over. So look, this is Jet's Pizza. I go to our Jet's Pizza and they make homemade everyday ranch dressing. You'd think I'm doing a commercial for them. And I buy it. But then I keep these bottles because they're really handy. And I tried to take the bottle back and let them refill it, but they won't. So look, I have two bottles here. And then I have one. This one was from the Dollar Tree, and you could buy packs. I think there's two in a pack. So just kind of wanted to show, use what you have. You can use a bowl. You can use these. Also, you're going to see you can buy them at Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Walmart, a drugstore. They're just little travel spray bottles. So we're going to use those also, just to kind of talk about those. So it says use protective gloves to avoid temporary coloration of your skin. Check. We have our gloves. Then it says add warm water into a bottle for best results. I have warm water in a bowl for my best results. Now, lean in, I'll tell you a little secret. It says warm water. For those of us that are crafty, we read and we're like, oh, if warm water's good, boiling water would be even better, right? Because it would dissolve the dye, the powder better. Don't do it. So I did that, and I used boiling water. And what does boiling water do? That steam rises. I discolored our ceiling and a place that I was renting at the time. So I had to paint, not just that room, because that room connected to another room. So warm water works. Don't let the steam rise. We don't want to tie-dye our ceiling. We may think we want to, but you probably don't. So I add desired amount of dye powder. Do this slowly to increase the depth of powder. To lighten, add more water. So I've just, you can see I have some water in here. This one I have a little too full, so I'm going to pour some of it into something else just so it's not so full. And then we want to stir into completely. So I'm just going to start, and I would recommend, I had it somewhere. Do you think I know where it is right this moment? No, I don't. Well, this will work. I would have some tape, so after you snip a corner and you use that, tape it closed right then. Ask me why I'm telling you this. Right then, tape it closed so that when you're moving stuff around, you don't knock it into the floor. So look, I'm going to do 1. It's on my table. 2. It's on my table. 3. It's on my table. That way, I'm going to snip it and pour some in. And this one, of course, I'm looking for a container that's right here. I am going to pour some of my water out because I feel like it was a little too much in there. So, shake, shake, shake. Like a saccharin, back when we used to sweeten or whatever. I'm going to cut a corner. And this one is brilliant blue. So I'm going to take some of that brilliant blue, and you're going to watch it. A little dab will do you. Now, I'm going to fold that and fold that. And what am I going to do, everybody? I'm going to tape that. Some of you are going to make fun. You're going to laugh. And then you're going to knock it off, and you're going to be like, oh, I should have done that. Trust me. I tell you these things because I've made the mistakes. We make mistakes so that you don't have to. And you can see it's taped, and I've moved it out of the way. And I have my brilliant blue, and I'm going to shake around, stir around. And then I'm going to go to my red, cut a little corner, pour a little in. You can see it. I'm going to add a little more. Love. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to fold it. I'm going to tape it. And I'm going to move it out of the way. So taping it as we speak so that I don't think, oh, I'll do that in just a moment. So it's taped. And I have my last one here. Unscrewing that. And this is my bright yellow. Snip a corner. And go. We have it brilliant. And folding, folding, taping. Taped. So I'm going to stir these around, and then I'm going to look at my cute little kindergarten sheet because I'm going to need it. And then I'm going to mix. This one, of course, do you think I know where the little red thing is? I do not. I do not. So in the comments, while I'm shaking and baking here, tell me, have you done tie-dye before? And once you start on YouTube, there are so many amazing artists that do tie-dye. And just Google and watch some of them. I am not going to do it anything justice. Trust me. I would love to learn and really get into some of how they tie and do. I bought a beautiful shirt, and they had tie-dyed Mickey Mouses just on how they twist and turn the fabric. Okay, so we have our colors. And look, I have some spray bottles here. So let's mix some colors up. So we're going to do red and blue. And I should have a little funnel, but I don't. So let's say a prayer that I don't spill this. Red. And I'm going to immediately put the top back on that so that I don't knock it over. Red. Here is my blue. And let's see what it does. So I'll just show you. Red and blue. And we will stir that around and you can see that pretty purple. And blue and yellow. We'll make some of that to see. There's my blue. Stick my top back on because, you know, I'm scared to death I'm going to hit something. Some of you have never met me before. So hi, hello. Some of you know me and know how I can do a live and knock 6 things over. So don't be surprised. Oh, love that color. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow because I want it to be a little more umphy green. That's gorgeous. So there's some green. And let's see. Let's do a red and yellow to make my orange here. So I have yellow right here. Let's try that one. Yellow. Like I said, it feels like a fun kindergarten project here to mix these up. And here. And obviously you can adjust the dyes to the color and the hue that you want it to be. But I wanted to do all here. So, and it says, note, watch this. Color mixing, do your thing or follow the Crafty Co team. Do your own thing. But what I love, just remember not to oversaturate, and it's also important to stay smiling and to have fun. So guess what? I'm going to stay smiling and we're all going to have fun. I am not going to put my gloves on just yet because I'm not quite ready to start dyeing. But here's our bandana. I am always going to have a bandana as either where it is like a do-rag. So I'm going to start mine off as a triangle. And that was just how I'm going to start mine. So I'm going to fold it into a triangle. And then I'm going to do another triangle. So that is how I'm going to start it. And then I'm going to change so that you can see my hands. And let's talk about that. So give me a moment and I'm going to change camera views. And you can see that from earlier videos, I was in a different studio, but now I'm back home. I was in Pittsburgh visiting, filming, came home. So now I went from yins to y'all, from Pittsburgh to the South, yins and y'all. So y'all join me and let's see a different camera angle here. So flip of a button and there we are. So you can see I have some, this is just some plastic laid down. And typically after, when I lay down plastic, again, here's that tape that I used earlier. I like to just tape some of it down so that it doesn't move around and me still make a mess. So I'm outside of camera view with this one and I'm just going to move it there and put a piece here on the table. And that's just so as I'm moving around, I don't move my tablecloth, and if I've spilled something, it doesn't end up in my lap. So that's just some helpful hints. There's my gloves. So this one is what I'm going to say. You could watch a zillion videos and learn different ways. So you've seen I've done it here. I'm going to keep doing and folding, and I'm going to create a cylinder, and I'm going to do all the way down so that it's going to hopefully make like rings. We're going to see. I say hopefully. So here we have our rubber bands, and you want them to be tight so that the fluid, the dye, doesn't go underneath them, right? So I'm just going to twist and twist and twist, and I want it to give it some width. So you can see I'm making a little bit of width there. And I want it to be tight enough that it's cinches it. So now I'm going to start this one off a little bit tighter just so that it's easier for me. I'm just going to scoot down and I'm going to start doing the same thing and rolling it around, rolling it around, rolling it around. And we're going to talk about, you know, talking, walking, and doing this all at the same time. So now, see how there's white gaps? I'm going to try to close up those gaps just a little. There, see how I don't have any white showing through there? I've closed that gap up. That way, hopefully, that will stay sealed. And now what am I going to do? I'm just going to move down. And I'm about an official knuckles worth. So knuckle, and I'm going to go down to about right here. And I'm going to do that next one. And we're going to keep rolling with it. And I would highly suggest watch some videos. Learn how some people make some really cool techniques. This one, I'm going to hope that it does a little bit of a bullseye is what I'd like it to do. But, and again, I don't have any gaps in my rubber band right there. And I'm going to go down again about a knuckles worth. And you could change the spacing, and right here, see where I've moved that one. I'll go back and check before I start throwing dye on, because obviously I'm going to move some of these in and out as I'm, look, my official measurement guide there. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to move some of them around as I'm taking it in and out. And, you know, from here, I'm bending this and going from the top. And in just a moment, I'll change and start going from the bottom of it. And I'm going to try to get one more. And these rubber bands don't break easily. And I'll say that, and the next one will break. And I'm going to move all this around to try to fix any gaps and gaps. And to go to the next one. And maybe, let's see. I think I'll stay from up here for the moment, and then I'll go down again and to the next side. And you can see I'm just twisting, turning, getting them on there. This part is a little bit tiresome sometimes. And there we go. One more. And if you need more rubber bands, go grab some stash. We know you have them in your house. But if you don't have more rubber bands, guess what? Dental floss works great because it's coated. You can wrap it around, and I will and show you. And the dye won't penetrate that wax. So if you run out of rubber bands, we can use this. And we will talk about that. So here I'm rolling this one down just a little bit because I want to keep it about that same knuckle. So here I'm going to go, and maybe I'll start from this end rolling it and twist, twist, twist. I keep reminding myself to keep my hands under the camera and twist it. And that way you keep seeing that I am just moving these along. And I had thought about speeding the video up, but I really do want you to see. And if you get bored, feel free to fast forward me. But I kind of wanted you to see the whole thing instead of me just doing a couple. Because, you know, we know how technology sometimes if you want, you can move it ahead. If you want to stay with me and do it in real time, I'm not fast forwarding this right now. I'll fast forward the drying time after we get finished with this. So you don't have to watch me do all the other, the drying and the washing. And there we go. I'm that knuckle. I'm about that knuckle. This one's a little tighter, but that's okay. As it gets bigger, the ring can get a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go one more. And go. and go. So have you had a favorite product yet, or project? Something that's been your favorite so far? I love everything, truthfully. I love the markers. Of course, with my background, I love vinyl. I've been in the vinyl industry for many years, so it's exciting to have different vinyl. The luster was gorgeous. And let's do one more. And then I'm going to stop and let all of these tips be the same color, hopefully. We're going to see how that blends. And again, this is not, I have never, said I was a pro Italian. I thought we would try something just cylinder and go. So now, look, and I'm going to leave this. Look, I have a black string from somewhere. I'm going to leave that, and we have. So I'm going to move my cute bag out of the way. I'm going to move dental floss for now. I'm going to scooch over just a smidge so that I'm a little more equipped. I'm going to put on my gloves. If you have, like medical gloves or kitchen gloves, any of those, these are kind of big. And typically I would use, latex kind of or gloves, but I wanted to use what was in the kit. And then here's my spray bottles. And you can tell there's my purple. There's my green, my orange. And we're going to dab just a little. And remember, it said not to oversaturate. So I'm going to go yellow, red, orange first. So yellow, red, orange. And then I'm going to go blue, purple, green, I think. So blue, purple, green. And then I'll start back. So we'll see. So yellow is going to be my first. And I just kind of dabbed it and let it get on there. And I'm going to try to hold that. I'm going to try to get it to where I can just drop it and not have to pick it up. That's what I'm going to try. So yellow. And this one is a spray. And that way I'm going to see how much my color comes out. So we're going to try a few different things. Here's back to the bottle of dropping it on. That may have been oversaturated. We shall see. Now let's go to my blue here. And it really does soak into the fabric really quick. This one I am saturating it a little bit more because there's several layers for it to go through. I don't think I oversaturated, but... And I'm going to open this one and just pour from the purple. And I'm going to spray at the bottom of it. So there's my purple going in. And, you can tell my colors are softer. They're not bright. So you could add less water, more dye to get that brighter color. There's my purple. And I'm going to put the top on so that I don't knock it off. Purple. Green. And then I'll kind of start back and do. There's my green, and I'm going to start over again. I keep trying to pick up the wrong thing. There's green, and now I'm going to start back with yellow. It wouldn't hurt to have paper towels so that you could kind of dab that up as you're going, but I didn't grab it. Maybe for the next one I will. And you can see I'm just dabbing that in. And letting it kind of soak as I go because it has several layers to go down into. And I might find that I didn't do enough. And if I did, I'll let you know and tell you should do a little bit more on yours. So there's that yellow. Now I'm going to go to the orange and pour some of it. And I feel like it soaks in there pretty quickly on this bandana. We'll see. And the red. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is where I'm going to use my spray bottles. Let me set this down and put the top. Because I want a lot of white, I want this to have a lot of white to it. I'm just going to spray some different colors and open it up a little bit. So I'm really just misting different colors to see how this will turn out. This is my experiment area. And I'm going to open it to where I can get in here and just do some sprays. Because I don't want it real heavy just yet. Because I want to have some different color and some white in here. You can tell I really want more white with just a little bit of color. And this is the last. Okay, so I'm leaving it just like this. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to be careful with this. I'm putting tops on. I'm going to change camera views. And then we're going to talk about one more thing. I'm going to take my gloves off for the moment. Set them aside. And let's see what else it tells us. So you can see we changed cameras. We did. And so it says, keep your item wrapped tight, place in a plastic not included to keep your fabric damp. Let sit for 6 to 8 hours and or longer if darker colors desired. Unwrap, leave out, and let dry. Once dry, machine wash in hot water. Don't put in with good clothes that there could be color bleed. That's when you throw it in with a load of towels. So I am going to use, I have like a big Ziploc. I'm going to put that in there and we'll let it sit and I'm going to let it dry and then I will do the things and come back and let you see. But before we do that, let me scooch. I was just recently on vacation and you know, when you're in different places, they have those cheap t-shirts. And you know what I'm talking about. They have the $34.99 seems to be a going rate for a t-shirt this days. So look. This was a $5.99 shirt. So $5.99 or maybe it was $4.99 and it was I rounded it to $5. So I think it was a $5 shirt. I'm going to take this $5 shirt and we're going to tie-dye it. So I'm going to do the same kind of things, but I want there to be some white. So I'm just going to grab some areas and I'm just going to do some rubber bands. And again, we're going to talk about, you know, you saw I used those rubber bands over there. What else could we use? And I'm just going to rubber band it. And I'm going to just do some splotches on it. And I'm going to spend just a few minutes on this shirt. We're not going to take a whole lot of time. I'm not going to do a bunch to it because I want to see what it's, so you can see, look, like I made one little thing. So now I'm going up here and I'm going to grab another one. So earlier you saw that I had tape. I'm going to take this tape. I'm going to cut it down in half. So I'm securing it to my table. I'm taking scissors and I'm just going to cut this in half. Or the best I can do in half. You know, it may not be perfect. It's okay. Move it up the table. One more cut and I'll show you. And it's kind of in half. It's kind of not in half. It's all right. But look, there's two pieces. So then I'll take this last little piece to let it go. So now I have a thinner strip and another thin strip. So another thing you could do is, like, I'm going to grab this piece and I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to really wrap it tight. So I want you to see, like, I'm really, really cinching that and wrapping it tight. So it's kind of like a rubber band there. And I still have some left, right? Here's a sleeve. Maybe I want to do a little different color right there. So I'm just going to take the tape. So I'm going to tell you, I use tape. It's easier on my hands. So if some of you struggle with the rubber bands, try something else because it's okay. It's your project. Remember, we just got to keep smiling. That's what the instruction told us, to keep smiling. So look, I have just that little. And then I have here, and I'm going to grab right here. I have a piece. And you want to wrap it tight again, and then just keep wrapping over it. So you can tell. I'm wrapping, I'm pulling. And if you want to do thinner pieces, you can. Mine are kind of, you know, that wide. Let's take a piece from the back side and do it. So that way it'll pull a little different color from the back. We'll try that out. See what we think. And this one I'm going higher up so there's not as much white exposed as some of the other ones. And it's going to be a really wide band right there. And we'll see what it does. And I'm going to, if you wanted to use dental floss, let me show you that. So I'm long piece. I'm going to double it in half just so it's a little bit thicker. I'm going to grab a piece down here of the white tish part. What I kind of do, and I will show you, see where it loops right there? I take this part and bring it through the loop like that. That way it just gives me something to grab hold. So I just do the loop and then I'm just going to wrap and wrap and wrap this around. Like so. And then you can, I usually just kind of pull it and tuck it under one of them. And just kind of tuck it. There. So that's, you know, if you wanted to use dental floss. Or, like you could even do dental floss and a little piece of tape with it if you didn't have. I'm just trying to show you some different ways that you can use if you run out of rubber bands. That way, different designs, different sizes. So, I have that one. And I think we need one more at least. So, a little more tape. Let's cut that tape in half so that you can see how it does. And I'm going to do it tight and wrap and wrap. And you can see, look, I already drug some of it through. So earlier I said I wished I had a paper towel. I'm just going to make this t-shirt my paper towel. So I will show you. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to fix that. And you can see. So you could see this was my mess earlier. And what did I say? I wish I had a paper towel to clean it up. Well, guess what? I have this gigantic paper towel. It's called a t-shirt. And I have kind of cleaned up some of my mess there. And look, I have splotches and I am perfectly okay with that. You know, it's a $5 t-shirt and we're going to see how we like it. And I'm just going to do, I think yellow and red and maybe just a smidge of another color, but we're going to see. So from the back right here, I'm going to soak that in a little just because I had some spilled. And I'm going to do the back side of my knots in red from the back side a little bit. So here's all my back sides. That was kind of a funny thing to say, wasn't it? And I'm trying not to overly saturate. What did I forget to put on? Y'all didn't remind me. Let's put some gloves on. It's okay, you'll forget to, and then you'll notice your hands getting dirty. So you can see my red, and I'm just going to follow through and do some of the yellows. And I want mine to be kind of a messy. It's going to be anyway because it's me, but I really want to see how, if you just kind of throw it, what does it do? And I don't want vibrant, I hope color. We're going to see. So that one, here's my dental floss right there. And I'm just kind of smushing that so that that goes down into the fabric a little bit. I'm going to do all of this yellow, this area right here. This may be my favorite shirt, or it might not. We're going to see together. And you know, I'll be honest and tell you, I love it, I hate it, or I like certain things about it. Okay, yellow. Some yellow up here. Yellow. And then I'm going to do some squirts of some red. And see where it's dropping? For me, I'm okay with that. You may not be, but I'm okay with that because I kind of like it just falling wherever it falls. Now, I'm going to lay my shirt out the best that I can here. So this is where I've knotted it up. And yours may have a ton more of knots. And I'm just going to do this. And see how does it do when just the colors just kind of fall where they fall. I didn't mean for the red to get on that one. So, I'm asking like you're going to answer me, but I think I'm just going to dab a little bit of purples in just so I can see a light color. And you can see right here just that very light. I'm just going to add into some of the crevices a little bit of color. And again, I didn't mean to get red on the top of mine right there when I got to pushing that. But it happened and it's okay. You can tell my theme for this is it's okay. Because it is. I did a really pretty tie on the other one and I wanted this one to see how was it if we were just really kind of messy with it. I'm going to flip, and I'm going to do a little splatter of some purple, very lightly. There's my red top that I lost earlier. And here I'm just kind of smushing some in. And there's not really any yellow back here yet, so I'm going to add just a smidge of some yellow quickly, and then it may make a little bit of a green. We're going to see how it does from the back here. I can see some green already. It's looking like a hot mess, and I'm loving part of the look of it, truthful, but we'll see. So let me slide these off. Slide those off. Let's change this around just a little bit. So we've changed it around. We know we're going to let it sit for 6 to 8 hours. So y'all hang tight. We'll let some time go by, and then I'll be back and you can see the finished product. I'm going to let it dry, and I will cut the rubber bands, and that way I can just finish with you seeing the final shot of it. So happy day 11. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll be back in just a little while. And when I say little while, I mean, you know, like 6 to 8 hours. See you in a bit. Good morning, good morning, even though when we ended it was last night. So we'll hopefully splice those together for you, but we had to let it dry. And I told you I was going to cut it and open it and then just do the final reveal, but I felt like you needed to see what happened. And so it's not even 100% dry, but it's good. But I want to do so that I can get this ready for you. So let's swap this around just so you can see in the same time that I see. So I have scissors here, and I wish I could say I had the patience to take these bands off, but I don't. So I'm just going to snip and snip and maybe unroll there and unroll some because it's kind of tight. Snip. I should have got sharper scissors. Snip. And, you know, I have a sewing room and full, but I grabbed, you know, the school scissors, the safety ones. Maybe my undoing this before would have been a better idea, but I really did want you to see what it was like as I unrolled it and how did it do. And that way you could see exactly how I saw it, and I didn't use any trickery. And let's move all this out of the way. I am very excited. I love the pale, and I told you that I really did go for trying to do that paler. And I think, you know, if you let it dry, it'll get darker. But that is pretty amazing. And I probably will go throw it. It's not dry 100% everywhere. I may go throw it in my dryer and, you know, let it fluff a little. I love that design, and I love how it will look folded, having that. But now I kind of like, I seeing it, I'm thinking I'm going to press it, add vinyl, and it's going to be a wall hanging or something, because I'm trying to move it so that you really can see that I got beautiful rings of color. And I mean, and I'll hold it up and show a different view before we end. So let's go over. So here was my dental floss. So I'm pulling that one off first just because it was right there beside me. I say I'm pulling it. There we go. Here is the tape, and I'm unwrapping that. And I can see white underneath it. And let's see if I can get, yeah, there we go. I'm unwrapping. There was, remember I did do one rubber band. So get underneath that one. Some more tape over here. See where it started. And here. Move that out of the way. I think I have. So look at the back. So we have one more here. So I have some really good rings, and I have some good splashes. And, you know, I could not be more pleased. I love how the colors turned out. I love how I got some splotchy. I got some of the colors that blended really nicely. Again, the shirt's damp in a couple places. And I don't feel like when I'm looking in the camera to you, like it's showing up as nicely. So maybe I'm going to hold it up to let you see. But there it is. And then I'm going to change and let you see. And hopefully, because like I said, it just doesn't do it justice for the colors. So let's see if I hold it and do this way. So I'm going to just hold it up. And see, like here on the camera, it doesn't look, it looks gray when I'm looking, but looking at it, it's a beautiful, like shades of purple. So I am very pleased with this, and I hope you like it. And here's the back. And, you know, now I would wear this shirt. Before it was just a white $5 shirt. But hopefully you really can see the color rings that I was able to get. And I'm going to dry it. I'll press it, and then later I'll take a picture, and then I will post this so that you can see the final ones. I hope that y'all have a great day today, and happy day 11. Thanks, everybody.